We're live, everybody.
What up, yo? What up?
We are live.
That song, yo, no, I'm digging that song a little bit.
Yeah, you're vibing with it, Frank. You're vibing with it.
Give it that extra 5 seconds that we never give it. I'm with it. That beat is nice. What's up, yo?
What's going on? We have a very special guest today, everybody. Malya Feivelson. We're going to be talking about public speaking, a topic that I feel like everybody needs a little bit of help, I feel like you can never be finished when it comes to, fine tuning your skill set with public speaking.
For sure.
It's definitely an important topic. We have a couple of surprise guests joining us today, which is a lot of fun. Malya doesn't know who they are, but they've both been on Hebrew Hits, which is Malya's podcast, and we are very excited for that. We had a little bit of a late start today because we had some good old-fashioned StreamYard technical difficulties.
But we're here. We're here. That's what's important.
But we're here. That's all that matters.
Guys, it's my fault. I apologize.
It's all good. It's
I'm a millennial.
Honestly, even when it's anybody's fault, it just for you to know how it works, it's always Frank's fault. Just know that. Always Frank's fault.
Take it for the people. Take it for the people.
Take it for the people. Take it.
We're good.
So, Malya, Frank just got over Corona. He got it late. So he just got it like 2 weeks ago. And then he did his quarantine and he's fresh out of it. And he was actually closing more deals during the Corona quarantine than he did for like the 3 months prior to that. No, Frank, isn't that true?
Yeah. I mean, you know how we are. We keep the numbers on the low, but absolutely. I think that even the live, right? It was like, I got Corona, but I'm still doing the live, right?
We still did our podcast episode, yes.
It's like having that mentality of like always showing up and being fearless about it, right? Yeah, fearless.
100%,
wow.
100%.
And yeah, so we're here, man. We're here. Malya, so first of all, so we've never spoken, which is cool. I think that sometimes David does these like weird intros, but I did my background research on you. I saw what you're doing. You have an amazing movement. I'm excited to have you here. So give us a little bit before, what got you into like, forget about that. What do you do? Tell the public what you do, what you dedicate yourself to, and then we'll go into the questions.
And then you want to hear about the background.
Yeah.
Everybody asked me about my background. I just like go on a whole long rampage. First of all, nice to meet you, Frank. We just connected today, by the way, on LinkedIn.
Correct.
For the first time.
There we go. Shout out to LinkedIn.
So I'm excited.
My confidence.
Is this, by the way, being streamed on LinkedIn?
Yep.
It is.
So I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn's an amazing place. So what do I do? People always want to know, what does the Malya Cam? By the way, I created a hashtag. Go follow hashtag the Malya Cam. A lot of interesting things happen over there.
Love it.
So basically, before COVID, I was always into radio. I was always doing it, but it was more of like passion, for me. And I was an interior designer. And then COVID hit. Obviously, things, happened because of COVID. So I decided, you know what? I thought it was going to be like 2 weeks, a month, tops 3 months. I said, why don't I put like all my strength and all my energy right now? I'm not doing interior design right now. Let me put all my energy into radio. So I started having guests on my show, and I got a new guy to do a logo. I got like graphic designer. I got someone to run the Instagram. Like I started really building it. And then in the summer, I was like, you know what? I really want to put my entire effort into building a network. So I started really doing my research. How do you build a network? How do you, grow a business in the media field with radio and all that stuff? Is radio going out? Is podcasting coming in? What's the whole deal? So I started researching, and then September I decided, you know what? I'm not going to look for an interior design job now. I love this. I've never loved anything more than what I do. So I put all my energy into it, and I built a really, really, really good show. We've got 20,000 plus downloads on my show. And I'm just so excited that people really tune in and love it. And I'm building now, not only a show, but I'm building a network. And hopefully we're going to host a lot of shows on that network. And it's going to be so, so, so awesome.
When you say, real quick, so you have a radio? Is that what it is? Is it a radio station?
I'm building a radio station.
So
trying to build it.
This is something that LinkedIn doesn't know about me. Years ago, I ran a radio station. It was a Christian channel, and like a legit, we were an FM channel. So I have a little bit of experience on that, right? But a lot of people are saying that the radio has become the new television, and the phone has become the new You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of people are saying radio is dead. So what do you have to say to that?
Radio is never going to be dead. Just like a human's not dead until they're dead, radio is never going to be dead. I'm sorry. Everybody keeps saying radio is dead, radio is dead. Radio is the only form of communication from the public that goes to the personal person is what I'm trying to say. I don't know if you understand, but everything TV shows, television shows, you can watch so much TV. It's not speaking personally to you. If you know how to speak to your audience and I could make you feel like I'm speaking directly to you, that's something you don't have. You only have that on radio. So it's not going to go anywhere. Radio is not going anywhere.
And I said it wrong, but I'm going to say it again. So people are saying that the TV is the new radio and the phone is the new television, right? Because everybody's hooked on their phone and it's like it's transitioned. But at the end of the day, like you're driving your car, you know, like audio is a thing that nothing is going to remove, right?
Yeah.
And right now we have a Clubhouse, right? Nobody would have thought that the new network that's going to be rising is going to be all audio based, right?
And you know what, Frank? I think that Clubhouse becoming such a big thing is proof that radio is not going anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm using it, right? Like the next big thing is like an audio platform. Like radio is here to stay, man, right? And I think that things in the past when things evolve, right? And like things that were from the past start to rise again. And I think radio's in that stage where during Corona, when people were home, it started rising a little more. People were tuning into radios because it's like, right, Netflix, I've heard enough. Now let me just go into something else. Let me go hear a podcast. Let me get into a new environment. And radio is definitely picking up. So you have I'm telling you, I've done radio for a long time. It's you got to have your feet in the right place. And if you do it correctly, we wish you all success. And I'm excited to see
thank you.
With it. I'm excited to see
Thank you.
And
thank you. Another thing I want to say about TV is that TV it's a TV show. Radio and podcasting and media, it's all current and it's you're connecting with the person on a daily basis. The other thing is people don't realize radio is not so much when I talk about radio, I don't just talk about you turn on your station in your car. There's many forms of radio right now. I know people think of radio, turn a radio on, you don't see the person. Let's talk about big radio stars. Ryan Seacrest, right? He has a video. You could watch him on YouTube doing his radio show. So a radio show is also available. You could still watch it if you want to see their face. That's what I do. I put myself on streaming apps on YouTube. People could see who I am. So radio is not only, you turn me on in your car, you turn on the FM station or AM. It's also, there's other places to find it. So that's also really, really good.
So I want to mention something about Hebrew Hits, guys. So I don't just invite anybody here. I think I found Malya on LinkedIn. I found Malya on LinkedIn and basically I checked out the Hebrew Hits Radio on the YouTube channel and I started checking out some of the episodes. We mentioned we have some surprise guests today. One of them actually just signed in. And
who is it?
You'll have to find out.
Honestly, can I guess?
You can't see. You can guess. Now let me just tell you something. You guessed, I believe, 4 or 5 people. Okay, you picked right. I can't tell you more than that, and be careful because don't
it's Mickey Klein.
Don't assume the last person you said. It's actually the first person you guessed. It's the first person.
Oh my God! Hold on. I think it was Alex Majuk who I guessed first. Was it?
Nope. You guessed your.
Okay,
I think your first guest ever.
Shlomo Levinger.
How we doing?
No way!
Wow. What is doing, man?
Oh my God. Shlomo Levinger was the first guest I ever had on Hebrew Hits. What is happening?
I'm good.
I figured if you want to get a good understanding of a podcast, you go to episode 1. I went to that episode and I was like, after I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm getting this guy on the podcast to be a guest, to be a surprise guest, because we're talking about public speaking. I obviously wanted to make sure that whoever I was going to invite could talk to public speaking. And ever since I connected with Shlomo, because I haven't heard of him before that, but I connected with him and I've been seeing him on his WhatsApp statuses and seeing him on LinkedIn. And I think, I mean, Frank, me and you are very active. We go around a lot, but I think the one person who's hustling more during Corona and going to these speaking events, obviously, because he's a performer, but he's going to speak while he's performing. So Shlomo, sorry I interrupted your first intro, but tell us about what you do and then I'm going to actually ask a question. My first question, which we got started late today, about storytelling with public speaking. So, Shlomo, please tell us what you do, who you are.
For sure.
Go ahead.
So, thank you, David. So my name is Shlomo Levinger. I'm a professional magician, which is definitely different than probably anybody you'll ever have on this podcast.
That's why I love it. That's why I love it.
So I'm going to have to cut you off. So what's the difference between a professional magician and someone that does it as a hobby?
It's a good question. I would say not much, except for that a professional magician also has to know how to perform and engage with a crowd. So when you have someone who's a magician, who's an amateur magician, your cousin or your friend, they'll show you a couple tricks, and it's cool. It's great. And that's how everyone starts off. But to be a professional magician, it takes a lot more than that, and it takes just the hustle and just the practice of doing it over and performing over and over and over again. I say this all the time. I think I even told you this on the episode. There's no shortcuts, literally, to being a good public speaker, to being a good performer, unless like you're born like a superhero. Like I would say that it's very hard to just naturally be a good public speaker. You have to just kind of do it over and over, even if you're charismatic, even if you're amazing, but you just gotta keep doing it over and over until you actually get it to where you want it to be. So
in other words, we could say that it's beyond the trick, right? It's like way beyond.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I would say 7. Literally, like, this is a crazy number, but I'd say 70% of my show personally, like I would say, or in general, 70% of what makes a show good is the performance. So forget the tricks, forget the jokes, but I guess the jokes and the personality is part of it. But just the performance is 70% of what makes a show good.
You're touching on something. Humor is important, right? You gotta get the crowd with a joke. I heard from a rabbi that he was saying, like, rabbis have a tough job. They want to try to be funny too, and they do public speaking all the time. So he said, if you ever tell a joke and it doesn't work, he said, you just put your head down and you say, all right, let's have a moment of silence for that dead joke. And that's like a way to always come back. But obviously humor is important. And that brings me to my next question, which is really, I'm not sure how this applies to performance, but I know, for example, for me at least, the best thing I could do when I'm speaking publicly, and I want to try to relate to the audience and kind of really connect with them, there's nothing like the power of storytelling. And I'm wondering if that spills over into performance. Malya, the same question goes to you, but let's let Shlomo answer that first, and then Malya, and then Frank, if you have anything to add on top of that, you go too.
Can I just ask Shlomo something real quick before he answers that?
Sure.
Shlomo, how in the world did you not tell me? You probably saw my Instagram or my status, and you saw that I posted that. I had no idea you were coming on the show.
They even made him sign an NDA. So
there's two, not to take away from Shlomo, but there's two surprise guests. And the other one didn't either.
Know who the other one is. So.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Did you guys know it was a surprise for me? Did you guys know Shlomo, you knew it was a surprise?
I might have mentioned it. I don't know.
Yeah, he might have said something about that.
Wow. Okay, so now you can answer the question. I just had to get that out of the way.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
I would say the answer to your question is 100%, because a show is not just about the tricks and how you present it, but it's also about routining. So when you're talking about routining, it's building a story around the routine, around the trick, around the magic. So for me, I would say, I wouldn't want to call it a gimmick, but for me, I'm a magician, so I have to build that story around the trick. For, let's say, a comedian, they got to build the story around their jokes, etc., so on and so forth. For a rabbi, he's got to build the storytelling around the speech. So I would say for me, it's a little bit easier because I always do have magic to fall back on. Like, let's say the storyline falls flat or the jokes don't work. I still have the magic that's gonna amaze people, and like giving it that wow factor. So I still have that kind of as a backup. So it's much harder. I would say it's harder for a magician to bomb than a comedian, because that's all a comedian has. So if it doesn't work, if the story doesn't work, there's nothing left. For me, I at least have that little cushion of where the trick at least hopefully is good. So 100% storytelling is a huge part of it, and you got to be able to tell the story of what you're performing 100%.
Okay, Malya, what do you think about storytelling and public speaking? How does it, for you, how do they connect, and does it play a tremendous role, a minor role? Do you find that if you're losing the audience, tell a good story and you'll kind of regain them, or or tell me your thoughts on that.
So storytelling is definitely everything, especially with podcasting and radio and all that stuff. People want to hear, I always tell my guests when they come on the show, I don't want to interview you about you. I want to interview you, not about what you do. I want to interview you about you. People want to hear the person, what the person's about. So sometimes I speak to someone and he's like, this is what I do. And I'm like, tell me your story. So he goes through, I sit on the phone for, let's say, an hour, hour and a half now, hearing people's stories. And I'm like, wow, we're going to focus on that part of the story because that is what people want to hear. And I build it up into a huge story. And one particular person, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to, say any names. One of my guests, he's like, I never put two and two together, which is the thing he's been through and the job he does. And he's like, I never put two and two together until you're saying it to me. He's like, I lived the life and I never put the story together. So storytelling is very, very important. And in my 50th episode, which is, I just posted my 49th, 50th episode.
Congrats.
Thank you. I had someone interview me about my life and about my story and difficulties I go through, because I'm a woman, who does this. So I talk all about that and people want to hear that. 49 episodes, I'm talking about other people. Like Shlomo came on my show. He was the first one. And I feel bad. I feel like I need to give Shlomo another episode with video and the whole updated Hebrew hits because it's much, much bigger and it grew so much more since Shlomo was on. But Shlomo's always going to be the first.
I think it was about a year ago. I think it was almost exactly a year ago, I think.
Yeah. And then I reposted it in June. So June is really the year since I redid. So I'm going to, at the 1 year anniversary, at the birthday, I'll redo a post, but definitely storytelling is everything. You have to know how to tell a story. You have to know how to use your hands. You have to know how to, sit up and tell the story to engage the people for sure. And you have to have confidence doing it.
So we just got the second guest signed in and Malya, you guessed 5 people. Okay. And he was also one of the guesses. So
it's a he?
Yes, it's a he.
Let me guess. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Is it Alex Majuk?
No.
Is it Ben Taplin? Who is it? Who is that? Ben Taplin!
What's going on?
Wow.
How you doing, Ben?
You have no idea how exciting this is for me. Wow.
Listen, now it's a party. There's no party without
Now
Ben
it's a
Taplin.
party, yes.
Excuse me, it wasn't a party before? Come on.
Well, if Ben's not there, it's not a party. That's the rule. So
yeah.
So Ben and Shlomo, you guys know each other other than the fact that you were both in the early episodes of Hebrew Hits?
Sure.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Okay, I actually go way back with Ben. We have a mutual friend, and I think we know each other for a couple years. Ben's the best, and I also felt like Ben has a unique point of view on public speaking. So again, obviously we want interesting people on the show. Obviously we want people with a story to tell. But most importantly, we want people who can speak to the topic that we're bringing them on to talk about. And Ben, I know you had your fair share of public speaking. I'm going to just repeat the last question we asked Shlomo and Malya about storytelling and public speaking and how that plays a role. So if you want to take a crack at that, and then Frank has the next question for all of us.
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me on. Could you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
Clearly.
Oh, and you can give it a little intro, a little background of who you are as well. Sorry, I missed that. My bad.
Sure. Well, you guys are the professionals, so I leave that to you guys. First of all, Maya, it's glad to see you again. This time, actually, at least somewhat face to face. So thanks for that.
I owe you another episode, Ben, where we could do a video on.
No problem. I'm always up for it. So thank you.
Yay.
It was great interviewing, by the way.
Thank you.
My name is Ben Taplin. I'm 27, live in Brooklyn. I'm not sure where you guys want to go with this, but just your question, and I guess we'll sort of navigate through. To me, the most important part of storytelling is actually, instead of it being generic and scripted, it's really speaking from the heart. The more authentic you are, the more you could pierce through other people's hearts. So when you get up to speak, yeah, it's nice to have some sort of outline and preparation, but to me, it's always been more about, sounding genuine, sounding real. And the more you're able to convey that over your audience, the better chance you're going to have them listening to you the whole time instead of being on their phones.
100%. So to touch a little bit on that, on LinkedIn, a lot of people have asked me, "Hey Frank, how did your followers grow so quickly? How did people start?" And I think that I saw so many people on LinkedIn. Oh, I just closed this crazy deal. Oh, I just opened this new business. Oh, and all you see is like so much positivity, which positivity is great. But the problem is that that's not like the reality is that opening a business is difficult, right? And I've had so many failures, and I always say that I'm a product of failure. Like my failures have allowed me to be successful. So I gained a large following. I started talking about my crappy days in business, where I have a crappy week, where I had a crappy meeting, where I didn't close a deal that I wanted to close. Because the reality of social media is that it makes you portray something that you're not sometimes, and you want to make it seem like it's all jolly and beautiful. And the reality is that running and owning a business is difficult. It's like we can't lie about it. Everything that we do, like if it was easy, we all would have done it already, right? If it was easy to open a radio station, we all would have had radio stations already, right? And the reality is that this takes time, effort, energy, and I think the more authentic that you are about it, the easier your customers come and trust in you. Your followers believe everything that you say because they see that there's a no BS zone and that you're an open book, right? Like, this day didn't go well, and I'm okay with that. I can cope with that. So I started posting a lot about my failures while everybody was posting their success, and it attracted more people to like hit me up and say, "Hey, I also had that issue. How did you overcome that?" Right? So it opened the door for me to acknowledge other things. And Ben, I think you hit the nail right when you're like, it's about being authentic and just saying it how it is.
It's definitely more authentic when you talk about the failures, Frank. I remember some of those early posts before me and you knew each other.
Yeah.
I remember that stood out. That was definitely something that you don't see too much. That whole social media life is about showing the high life and showing the positive. Nobody likes to show the failures. Nobody likes to show the tough times. I couldn't agree more. Authenticity is key. Couldn't have said it better. Agreed. I want to take this question to more of a difficulty when it comes to public speaking, because I think anybody who speaks publicly has times where it doesn't go well. They have bombs. And it's not about, just like Frank's saying, it's not about those failures defining you. It's about that defining what you're going to do to change to make it better next time. And it's not about getting discouraged. It's about, just keep going and keep fighting and keep showing up. We had tons of different like opportunities in life. Everybody has tons of opportunities. Everybody has tons of different roads they could take, but the road you take is what you're supposed to do. And obviously when you're explaining to someone any form of success, the best way is to explain everything. It's not to just say, hey, this is all the positives. You have to explain the negatives, because like you're saying, that's what it takes to run a business, to start anything good. Anything good takes time, takes energy, and it's not easy. So I'm saying, I think all of us can speak to that. But what I want to take this into is more about and it could be that you don't have that. Maybe you guys never bombed. I don't know. I definitely had situations where I was in a pitch and it just wasn't going well, and I just brushed the dust off my shoulder and kept fighting, kept going to another, kept fighting another day. And I guess the next question is, what is a worthwhile mention of a story of something, a difficulty you had with public speaking, and more importantly, not about the story, because the story's fun and it's a little crazy and it has ups and downs, but then what did you learn from it? That's the most important piece of it. How did you adapt for the next one? Anybody that could answer that could take it. I'm not sure if everybody will have something to say or nobody, but it's up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, I've had times.
Oh,
Ben, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shlomo.
You're first. Go for it.
Shlomo, go ahead.
All right. So I'm thinking of one specific example, but I had a show it was for literally all age ranges. So it was, I would say, the youngest kid there was like 4 or 5 years old, and the oldest person there was 60 or 70 years old. It was like a whole family event for all different ages. And this was actually a couple years ago. I came in with a set show ready to go. And I honestly, when I came into the room, I'm like, okay, a lot of the stuff I have ready to go is not going to work for this crowd because they are all different age ranges, and some of the stuff was either too advanced for the younger kids, or it was mostly too advanced for the younger kids. So I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to do it, and whatever happens. And honestly, the adults enjoyed it, which is always good, but I felt bad because a lot of the younger kids didn't really resonate with them, and it wasn't really it wasn't the right material for that crowd. So I learned going out of that like, hey, like, you can't just come in with one set way to go, kind of like what Ben was saying with being able to adapt to your situation and just being very just in the moment and just being able to just wing it kind of. I would say I kind of learned from that yeah, obviously I'm going to come in with my set show, and I have my set show. I got my 15 minutes. I know what I'm doing. But I also have to have a backup plan. I got to have a plan and say, look, if this is not the right material, I have to go ahead and swap things out, or I gotta figure it out in the situation, in the moment. So I would say for me that was one thing that was like eye opening a little bit.
That's awesome. Preparation can only take you so far, and sometimes you got to just go with the flow. I love it. Ben, what were you going to say?
There's a couple points. Shlomo did touch on a couple of them about powering through and being able to adapt, and that's very, very important. I would say, first of all, it's okay to flop, and it's actually important to, because if you don't, then you always think you're invincible until you get into a really bad place. I'll tell you, just in terms of business, this happened once where the meeting overly confident. The guy asked me a simple question, and yesterday I didn't know the answer, and then I thought for a second, tried to say something else, and he's like, "You don't know the answer, right?" I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "It's okay, it's okay." And I'm happy that happened earlier on. In terms of speaking and saying and speaking about my story, I would say that I had an easier time because, when I was on oxygen, it was very easy to get up in front of a crowd with a nasal cannula. Everybody would be quiet. And actually, it's a great story. I guess I'll relay it over here. I'm not going to say which show it was, but it was a very, very prestigious. We're talking about 600-700 members. Job this morning, I was the keynote speaker. We're talking about a show with investment bankers, top doctors, very, very big professional show. The rabbi there is a very, very well-known rabbi who sits on the board of some rabbinical, I would just say, organizations in America. And sorry, guys, about that. Anyways, I got up to speak. I didn't think I spoke particularly well at all. And I finished, I go off the side of the rabbi standing right there. He's like, "You spoke amazing. That was incredible. But how did you get everybody to be quiet the entire time?" So, rabbi, it's very simple. Just get yourself a little tube. Everybody be quiet the rest of the time. That was important. I think that's important, but it's also important now that I'm not on that anymore to recognize that you have to know your place in life and where you stand. And yes, I have bombed a bunch of times, but I think similar to like what Shlomo said, you got to take a step back, pretend you're maybe thinking or actually think, and just regroup, and continue, and not let that, just because you messed up doesn't mean you can't continue. And you're only as good less dinner. So if you do well at the end, people are going to remember that. They're not going to remember the bomb in the middle unless it was really, really bad. So I think it's important to just be able to regroup yourself, regroup your thoughts, and just continue, and not let people get so caught up that they messed up that they continue messing up instead of shifting gears and being able to do that. So I guess Maya, you.
I have a little point on what Ben just said. If I could just chime in for a second. I kind of have a little theory about like public speaking and performing that I think goes a long way. And this is kind of literally what you were just saying, that the only reason, like, why are people nervous when they public speak, right? That's one of the biggest things. Like, it's one of the biggest fears is public speaking, right? That's like a thing. Some people, I don't know, there was a study, I don't know the whole thing. Yeah, death, this, that, whatever. It's a whole argument, that whole thing. But why are people scared to public speak? Because they're nervous, right? And they're nervous that they're going to mess up. So my thing is that, why are you nervous? You're going to mess up. And why do you mess up? Because you're nervous. So it's circular. So if you just pretend like you're not nervous, even if you're pretending, even if you're just making it up, you're just making believe you're not nervous. It's a natural thing to be nervous. But if you just pretend that you're not nervous,
I love it.
It goes a long way, because then you won't mess up and you won't be nervous, and then that whole thing just
I have something in that mode. I have like a little hack that I think I used. Everyone. I mean, it's almost like we can't have an episode talking about public speaking without the whole nervous topic coming up and saying, picture the audience in their underwear. Everyone knows it. That's like the oldest trick in the book. Okay, I've done it. So I mean, not like whatever. So the point is, it's just an idea. Like, you know, if you imagine you it's not a common thing for you know, people sit down in an audience with clothes on, obviously, but it's just a hack to, almost like you're saying, make yourself think you're not nervous. But what are you doing when you're picturing something? You're basically focusing on something else. You're focusing on not yourself and the fact that you're nervous. You're focusing on an idea that it's all funny and this guy's sitting there in his boxers. So obviously that idea can be taken, in my opinion, to a different way. Now, I want to take it to a much lighter place where, you know, when, especially in the service industry, I'm not trying to save the world. I'm not trying to change the world. But if I can help one guy, I'm happy. I feel like I'm doing the right thing. So instead of picturing the audience any way you can think of, focus on one person. Maybe you get an audience. Maybe you get a tough crowd. Maybe they're all terrible. Maybe you have one kid in the corner who's loving it. One kid in the corner who's just looking and glued, and you're making his day. I say focus on that guy. Focus on his reactions, because sometimes you'll have that one person who's just getting it, is just vibing with what you're saying, and that's like my hack of just, you know what, look at the innocent kid and see his reaction and his positive.
I'll point that
positivity
out,
will kind of rub back off on you. So it's like a little bit of a twist on that whole.
Yeah, I'll point that out, actually. Like I'll actually like point the guy out, and I'll be like, wow, only one person's clapping. Look at, and then like everyone else will like realize, oh, sorry. You know, like, it's whatever.
Great.
So kind of, yeah.
Not only that, but everybody's at that speech, or everyone's waiting to hear what you have to say, your value. So if you are nervous, then they're not going to get the great value that they can get. So you have to understand your value. You have to be confident and really believe in what you're telling them. And if you believe it, it will make you less nervous, because you're like, I really want to give this over. And how can you give it over? By being as confident and, you know, in what you have to say. I also want to point out about, I don't know if this is a failure with public speaking or whatnot, but it taught me a big lesson. I was on a podcast. I was interviewed by, I'm not going to say which show, but I was interviewed by, you know, different shows. So one specific show I was interviewed by, and the host, it was supposed to be about my journey and, you know, how I got to where I am and struggles I go through being a female doing this, you know, how people view me and all that stuff. And it ended up being like completely turned. They were wondering why I have so many men on my show. Am I feminist? All this kind of throwing feminism at me. And I'm not like that. I'm like, listen, like, my show is not about feminism, not about having girls in my show, having boys in my show. It's what you do with what you have that makes a difference, which was coined when I interviewed Ben Taplin, just by the way. This comes full circle. So I didn't know, the person starts throwing these feminist things at me, and I really didn't know what to do. So I paused and I was like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not at all feminist. It's not like, that's not what I'm trying to do here. Nothing to do with women. So I just literally paused and I tried answering as best as I can. It ended up coming out really good. Thank you. Hashem really helped me over there. But when I got off that interview, my first reaction was, I'm never, ever, ever being a guest on someone else's show. I said, I'm never doing it again. The whole thing was flipped. It was not supposed to be like that. Like, why would I put myself out there just to get called a feminine, like not a feminist, and like I'm pro men. Like, I was called like pro men and all this stuff. So I was like, I'm not doing that. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me that as a public speaker, you think that you should just go any speech that comes your way, any interview that comes your way, take it because, oh, I'm a public speaker. But it taught me a real lesson of got to research the people before and really see if you want to be on that specific show or give that specific speech. Don't just take anything that comes your way. That's what it really did teach me about that. So that's a good thing to know.
And then you threw that rule out when we invited you to come on this podcast.
Oh, well, you had to ask me like 20 times.
Right.
But yeah, I finally came on the show. It's a good show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We try.
We're in our origins. We're still. This is only episode 8. We actually.
This happened by mistake.
Definitely happened by mistake. We just the name of the podcast. We don't have a name, but we finally actually like episode 10 is going to be the last of this series, and then we're rebranding and relaunching.
No.
It's going to be very cool.
I love the No Name podcast. It's such a good name. Yes, it's amazing. Okay. I was like, I wish I thought of that.
Well, we had no name, so we just said, what should we call it? It was late at night, and Frank, I was like, are we doing this, Frank? Are we doing this? Like, what? We don't have a name, Frank. No Name podcast. I'm like, all right, just put it up there, just do it. And then we said we have 10 episodes to figure out. Frank, should we just say what the name is going to be?
Yeah, I'm up. We're there already.
So we're there already. We're 2 episodes away. We're going to be calling it Hustle New York. The Hustle Radio, New York Hustle, sorry. But like in short, Hustle Radio. And it's just going to be like me and Frank are in e-commerce. We did not want this to be like solely around e-commerce. The fact that we invited you, Shlomo, today, Malya, you don't necessarily have anything to do with e-commerce. Ben definitely doesn't have anything to do with e-commerce, at least not yet. And basically,
I have something to do with regular commerce. If I could show you, can I show you something? Because
you can share your screen
anyway.
Share your screen.
So I'm gonna do this.
No way. He's doing a magic trick. Oh my God! No way.
Listen, I was not gonna let you go without doing something.
I was gonna ask, but I didn't. I wasn't gonna force it.
I was gonna force it.
You guys were talking about e-commerce. This is just regular commerce. This is a couple dollars. I'll show that to you. $5. Yeah, there we go. It's secondary.
Okay.
But yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah. Go for it.
Let me make you bigger.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That always helps.
Wait, no.
I got it.
I got it, Frank.
I got it.
There we go. All right, so I'll count this out again just to be sure. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, $5, and that really is 5 single $1 bills. And my sleeves are even rolled up by the way. So
love it.
There you go. $5. Watch carefully. If I were to do anything with this money, and Frank, this is to you. If I were to do anything with this money, what should I do with it?
Turn it in.
Multiply.
Like as a magician. Multiply.
No.
All right. So
turn it into hundreds. Turn it into hundreds.
Here we go. Watch the ones. Yeah. Don't blink.
No way.
Turn them into hundreds. That's one. That's hundreds, right? That's one. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. And that's $500. That's legitimately
Shlomo, you don't even have to work. You could just change all of your dollar bills into hundreds.
Exactly. No, but the thing is, this is just an illusion, right? And we were talking about before how all magic is an illusion, and the storytelling, etc. Don't blink. Watch the hundreds. And the reason why I can't do what you were just saying is because it is just an illusion, and those are really just ones the entire time. So
that's awesome.
What?
That is awesome.
There you go.
Hold on, give me your address so we can send you $1 bills.
I'm very selfish. I only do this for myself. So.
Oh my gosh,
dude! I was not gonna let you go without doing that. I was gonna be like, "You're a magician. Put your money where your mouth is," and you brought the money.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I'm with it.
I was so intrigued with magic after I interviewed Shlomo. I started becoming a magician, and I was able to disappear a few things. Shlomo, you know what I'm talking about. I posted it on my Instagram.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was so funny. Everyone's like, "Are you the girl magician?"
Yeah. When I was a little kid, I was so entertained by that. It was like putting how people used to put the little quarter in the soda bottle. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed because I was like, "Yo, like I want to do it, right?" So I always had like a low key passion for that, and it's just sick, man.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
But most importantly, I think that you come with a positive message, man. I think that's a better approach to it. A lot of magicians that I've met throughout the years, I don't have any friends that do that, but in the street, they're usually like very like stuck up. They're very, you have this passive, chill vibe, and I'm so with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly like in terms of just like my performance style, that's kind of what I'm going for, because I know there's a lot of magicians who give off like this creepy vibe or like this like let's say like these mentalists, like they read your mind like, ooh, spooky, like that type of thing. And that's just totally not what I'm trying to give over. Like I'm just trying to be as entertaining as possible. So like I just think that if everyone has a good time and we're all on the same team, and we're just doing magic together instead of just you trying to figure out how the trick works and me trying to fool you. I think that once everyone's on my team, also that gives me more of a successful business model, I would say. So,
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
for sure.
How do people reach out to you? How do people book you, David? I'm so down to book you for one of our events.
Yeah, actually, I do a lot of corporate events. So if you guys have anything, for sure. But I book everything myself. I book through, my number, my email, social media. I got a lot of DMs on Instagram, and actually, LinkedIn is like a recent acquisition for me. Like I wasn't on LinkedIn until about maybe 6-8 months ago. When I was just like, you know what, like, what's one more social media platform? What, like,
Shlomo, let me tell you, Frank made me a believer in LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure Malya's on the LinkedIn wagon. I'm a big believer. I really am. And let me tell you, I don't know if there's any magicians on LinkedIn. So
sure. Like
you got an
I
opportunity there. I love it. I think you should.
I think people, like, it's funny. Like I've only been on it I've been on Instagram for 10 years. I've been on LinkedIn for only 6 to 8 months. And I already have people coming over to me at shows or seeing me in the street and being like, oh, I love your stuff on LinkedIn, which to me is like crazy. Cause like, I just started that. Like I just started posting.
It gets crazier, man. You're at a restaurant. Yeah. Like, hey, I know you from LinkedIn, and you don't know them back. It's like that.
Right.
Weird but,
yeah, no, for sure. But just like they say, thank you so much. Like I really appreciate it. Like just be nice, and it's a good feeling. It's definitely a good feeling. And then also, like, I would say for LinkedIn, it's a little bit of a different thing for entertainers on LinkedIn, because people that scroll through LinkedIn or post on LinkedIn, a lot of it's tons of business and tons of just like not boring stuff, but more not entertainment. And it's a breath of fresh air when you can scroll through and then you see a video pop up that's entertainment, or that's me doing a magic trick for someone in the street, or me performing for this crowd, or this event that I did. I feel like it gives a lot of people like, oh, you know what, let me take a 2-minute break and watch this video. So I feel like that adds a lot to it also.
I'll tell you one thing. When I see the videos, I watch them, and there's not enough of that on LinkedIn. There's a lot of dry, a lot of. It's like a breath of fresh air. I do love it, and please keep it up.
100%.
That's why entertainers are going to be successful on LinkedIn.
Yes.
You know, I only started LinkedIn 175 days ago. I have close to 10,000 followers. On my Instagram, I've been trying, but I personally do not like Instagram anymore because, like, it's very different. It's a different league. It's like Instagram is a type, and then LinkedIn's a type. And I found my niche, and LinkedIn's the way to go. People really, really support you on LinkedIn. Like, I have people really supporting me and telling me they love what I do and giving me like motivation, keep going, and things like that. I do not have that on Instagram. And I found LinkedIn. I built a community. Now I'm growing. Now I'm building. My business partner's calling me. Sorry. Now I'm actually building a networking event, which is happening on May 4th, 2021. It's called Hit Connect. It's a huge LinkedIn
with Itzy now.
With Itzy, we have amazing sponsors already. We have a lot of people who signed up for this networking event, and Itzy keeps calling me. I'm like, Itzy, stop! He just keeps calling me. But basically, we're having an exhibit hall. We're having amazing keynote speakers: Heather Monahan, David Meltzer, Dor Benjamin. We're having an amazing panel. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but a few months ago, before I started LinkedIn, I never thought I'd be making a trade show literally on LinkedIn, but I built a community around me of people that support me. I support them, and it's just going to be an amazing event.
We actually
what LinkedIn
just
to
had
do is amazing.
Itzy. We had Itzy on episode 4 or episode 5. I forgot which one.
You just tell him to hop on because he doesn't stop calling me.
Oh yes, I tell him to hop on. Let me
tell him to hop on. To say Malya's in the show. Why do you keep calling her?
Look, I'm gonna tell you the power of LinkedIn, and this is just the reality. I've built a large following there, and I remember during the coronavirus. This is just to show you. It's like little things that confirm that like all your hard work goes far, right? So when COVID came, the beginning stages, I put up a post that I wanted to deliver some pizza to like the medical workers or like the first responders, and I was like, whoever wants to participate, here's a way to donate. The donations came like crazy, right? And all of that is due to like, we were able to deliver. I think it was like over 1,000 boxes of pizzas to like the nearest hospital.
Wow, amazing.
I think the thing was that people saw that I was posting so much, I was showing up, I was giving value, And the moment that you bring something that's like worth getting involved in, everyone that follows you already has that trust factor and is like, yo, it's a no-brainer. Frank is doing this. I want to be a part of it. Right. And I was getting donations from people that I've never spoken to. They were like, look, we see you on LinkedIn. And it was just crazy. That just shows confirmation of like building that strong presence on this platform.
And I tell people definitely stick with your brand. I tell people if you're on LinkedIn, create a hashtag the Malya Cam. Literally, I've been using that since day number 2. I started on LinkedIn just because, I was painting like my parents' hallway. I came home from the summer. I'm like, let me just redo my parents' house. I'm an interior designer. So I was like, let me just redo it. So for fun, I posted a video on LinkedIn and I got like 15,000 views. I got so many connections. I was like, what is this platform? I got to get off Instagram. I got to come on here. And I met such amazing people. And now like I'm friends with, I made such good friends with like real friends from LinkedIn. And it's incredible. It's so amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, thanks for having me on. I got to get going.
All right, Ben, thank you for joining us.
Continue doing great stuff.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for joining us.
Good to see you, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy, guys.
We might have.
Are you getting Itzy on or no?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me see if he's joining. I just called him and I didn't listen to what I was just saying. Come, join, and I just hung up. So
you called him or you messaged him?
I messaged him the link and then he didn't see it, so I called him and then.
Did you tell him I'm on the show or no?
I did. I just said I'm on with Malya. She said you're calling her. Just join us, and then I hung up the phone. I didn't take my headphones off, so I was just like hoping he would join. But if he's not here, he might not be coming.
Where are you located? New York?
Who are you talking to?
To you. Where are you located? New York?
Yeah, New York. I mean, yeah.
Same.
For now.
Cool. East Coast representing.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Frank?
I'm from New York. I live in Long Island, but I'm from the city.
Nice.
Long
and what
Island,
about David?
I'm from
I'm
Deal,
curious
New
what
Jersey.
it says behind Frank on that sign. I can't see the top of it. The whole time I've been like, what does it say above that?
It says fearless.
Do not be
Whoa,
afraid.
it's long, Shlomo. I can't read it. It's too small.
Live every day fearless.
Right,
yeah, it's good
it's
motivation.
a good motivation right there. Yeah,
good stuff
for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are 8 episodes in. This is so amazing. What has been your favorite episode so far?
I have here is like a David,
I think this episode just because of the I mean so far we had a bunch of great topics. Last week's topic was I think my favorite topic yet. We were talking about sales, but I happen to like if I had to like sales and public speaking, very important, very very both crucial. I happen to love both of they both go hand in hand, but I like public speaking and I kind of like vibe with that topic. And then we had great guests. We had that magic trick that was awesome. So this is
the diversity.
Guys, I want to do a magic trick. Hold on.
Better. Okay,
how am I supposed to do this? I have to prop my phone somehow. Maybe I could turn it. Hold on. Let's see. Does that work? Okay, I know. Hold on one second. What can I make disappear? Because I've learned some things. Do I have anything in this room? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna make this paper disappear, guys.
So are you.
Wait, Itzy, I'm about to do a magic trick because I'm the girl magician. So right here, it's very hard with this thing. I don't know where I'm looking. Okay, so right here I have this piece of paper. Okay, now watch my hands. It's gonna go in my hands, and then hold on. Let me blow. Let me.
Good job.
Cool.
Why are only you two clapping? I want all of you to clap. Let's go, guys.
Keep it in frame.
Let's go. Let's keep going.
There you go. I'll keep it in frame here. Watch the pencil. You can actually just make it vanish.
No, that wasn't a pencil. That was like a string. No. Oh.
There.
By the way, Shlomo, I just want to tell you something real quick. Your brother messaged me after I did that magic trick, just that same one. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I had to watch that a few times."
Yeah, he doesn't see enough from me, so.
I'm taking over the magician world. Itzy, you keep calling me. I was like, what does Itzy want? We got to get him on the show.
I have something important.
What's going on, Itzy?
Something going on behind the scenes.
I hear you. Malya's telling us a little bit about it. A little bit, just a little bit.
Okay, we'll give the mic for Malya.
So me and Itzy have teamed up. So we've merged my blue. Okay, I need to turn it this way. So we've merged the blue and we've merged the purple. So we are doing a networking event, which I discussed earlier in the show, if Itzy was watching. Hit Connect is happening on May 4th, 2021. It is an amazing, incredible networking event. And I keep telling Itzy not to use the word mega because it's MAGA, Make America Great Again. So we don't want to upset anybody that voted for Biden. So we can't really use that word, Itzy. But basically, it's an amazing event. As I said, we have like about 100 people signed up already. We are so excited for this event. We only started advertising 2 days ago. People are signing up really quickly. If you did not sign up yet, you're really missing out because the early bird is happening now.
Give me a plug. What? Give me a website that I could put in here.
That's Itzy's. I'm going to hand that over to Itzy. It's the purple.
Itzy, what am I doing? Is it Purple Virtual World?
Yeah, when you go to purplevirtual.live/hitconnect.
That's it.
All right, hold on.
And then you say L'chaim.
I've got my water here, so I guess we could do a l'chaim like that.
Yeah.
What's this new word, by the way? Like all the guys I go on dates with, they start saying l'chaim. I'm like, what are you saying? L'chaim. What is that? I never heard people say it till this year. L'chaim.
Itzy, please tell me if this is correct. Is this correct?
Where do I see it?
On the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, purplevirtual.live/hitconnect. Yeah.
Okay, just making
I
sure.
don't see it, but okay.
No, it's scrolling
believe
across
you.
the bottom of the screen.
It's scrolling.
Underneath you right now.
Oh. Yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's really an amazing event.
Anybody
I'm very
watching?
excited.
Sign up. I think it's May 4th, correct?
Yes, May 4th, 2021. It's going to be virtual in the purple world, so no more Zoom,
David,
not
it's 1 day
StreamYard.
before your,
One day before the drawing. We're actually doing for e-commerce sellers. We're running a giveaway, and Itzy's involved in that. And that's gonna be a lot of fun. And that is May 5th. So I'm very happy, and I'm definitely planning on coming to Hit Connect on May 4th. And then I mean, you guys are invited, but it's really for e-commerce sellers. And Shlomo, we might just need some corporate entertainment.
If you need something, definitely hit me up. I'm always available.
Okay,
Unless
guys,
I'm not available.
We're gonna wrap up. We always start and end with a song. So Frank, hit it, please. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
Peace.
Thank you.
Go.
Whoa.
There we go. I love it.
There you go. Some marketing right there.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
Enjoy. Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.